everyone, and welcome to another episode of NAMI Maine Talks. My name is Ambrose and I'm our marketing and media specialist here at NAMI Maine. Today we have a very special episode. We are joined by Garron Dorr, horticulture therapist at the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. So I guess I'll just get right into it. Garron, can you explain what horticulture therapy is and kind of how did you get involved in it, and what is your role as a horticulture therapist?
Yeah, and thank you,
Yeah, of
Ambrose, for
course.
having me here today. Um, so to kind of break all of that down that you just threw at
Yeah.
me, we'll start with just like a simple explanation of what
Yeah.
horticultural therapy it is. It's a very niche market,
Mm.
um, and so I'm delighted to sit here and talk about it. And one of my favorite overall concepts of horticultural therapy by Stephen Davis is that horticultural therapy is really a process, and,
Mhm.
and that's really an important word. Is
Okay.
the
Yeah.
process? It's not an end result that I'm looking for in a therapeutic session.
Mhm.
It's the process through which plants, gardening, gardening activities, um, and kind of our innate closeness that we all feel towards nature, and we use those as vehicle um, in a professionally conducted therapeutic session or of rehabilitation
Mm.
and therapy. Yeah.
Interesting.
And we could break that down into like four main components
Mhm.
that go into being referred to as horticultural therapy.
Yeah.
Um, the first is the client. It is the
Mhm.
participant. It is the client gardener, whatever frame of reference a therapist or a therapy program uses. But it is the engagement of a participant in a horticultural related activity.
Mhm.
Um, Secondly, the participant, client gardener as such, uh, also generally has an identified disability,
Mhm.
an illness, or a life circumstance that requires these services. Thirdly, the activity is facilitated by a professionally registered horticultural therapist.
Mhm.
Um, and that to gain that experience or to gain that title, one also is educated in human science, plant science, as well as external therapy classes that they have to achieve
Yeah.
to become that. Um, and then fourthly and final is the participation is in the context of an established treatment um, or rehabilitation or vocational plan.
Okay.
So I create um, an entire 12-week session generally
Mhm.
for the summertime anyway,
Yeah.
um, that is focused on goals and objectives for participants, individuals, and or groups to attain throughout that whole process. So
Mm.
it's really four steps. It's client
Yeah.
based. You need a therapist. You need plants and goals to be achieved.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the breakdown of what horticultural therapy is.
Awesome.
And that opens up a huge amount of benefits for people.
Oh, yeah.
Um, just a lot of people that I work with are in isolated facilities. So that social engagement, we work in a public garden space um, that is hugely interactive,
Mm.
which is a great experience. So that's a wonderful benefit. The
Yeah.
mindfulness, the improvement of mood, the coping abilities. I mean, I can go on and on. A lot of people also in their daily life situations have given up a little bit of choice. And I
Mm.
really try to implement as much activities that provide them some sense of choice. If
Interesting.
it's multiple plants that they get to choose from to work with.
Mhm.
I was doing seed sowing activities yesterday with folks, and just to give them that plethora of seeds to select, that might spark a memory.
Yeah.
If I'm working with early onset dementia
Mhm.
folks. It invokes a story, a relationship, a parental memory or story. It just opens up and expands so many wonderful opportunities. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you.
And so can I ask, how did you kind of get to this type of work? How did you get involved, and kind of what is the background that you need to kind of go into this type of work?
Sure. This was kind of a perfect storm for me. I fell into it 2019,
Mm,
really. And the impetus of it was my mother's decline of health. Um, and she had been kind of going into uh, periods of guess, a bout with cancer, spinal stenosis, and then finally a stroke happened in 2019. And so I was living on the West Coast and
mm,
traveling back and forth. And it just kind of got to a point that, okay, I just needed to come home and assist with daily life.
yeah.
Um, so in that transitional period, I actually happened to be watching PBS, which is one of my favorite things to do on a Saturday
Nice.
afternoon, with watching all the garden shows and the cooking shows and such.
Yeah.
And there was a show called Grow, and a gardening show, and they had a little snippet about a gentleman who was a horticultural therapist.
Hmm.
And his name is Kirk Hines. I remember to his day, and I finally actually got to meet my idol
Very
a couple
cool.
years ago at an award ceremony. And but he runs a program and has for I don't know how many decades, but down in Atlanta at AG Roads. And I just thought
Mm,
it was fascinating. It was just one of those I stuck in the back of my mind
yeah.
during this tumultuous time that I was going through. Wow, that's just a really fascinating career. And so when I did finally move back to Maine, um, I was in a space to do a career change. COVID happened, locked down the world. And
Mhm.
so I was literally standing in my vegetable garden at home and had this epiphany of remembering this show about horticultural therapy and how can I achieve that? How can I use the skills of my life experiences up to that point
Mm.
and transition into this? Well, there's a little bit of schooling.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
had to go get a degree in horticulture, SMCC down in
Oh,
Portland,
yeah.
Southern Maine Community College,
Mhm.
huge advocate for. Um, had a horticultural program, so
Very
I
cool.
enrolled in that. Uh, and then you also have to have human sciences, so a lot of
Mm.
psychology, abnormal psychology, lifespan development, such like that, which they also provided. And then also went for the therapy
Yeah.
part of it as well.
Mhm.
Found a program in Denver, the Horticultural Therapy Institute, affiliated with Colorado State.
Okay.
So I did it all
Yeah.
in about 2 years, and that was
Wow.
really the journey. And there's internships that you have to also
Mhm.
achieve um, to get to your title, a 480-hour internship,
Mm.
to be able to be a professionally registered therapist.
Okay.
So I did all that, and those I was able to do at Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. I was
Mm.
able to
Yeah.
do my horticultural job placement as well as my therapy internship the following year. So it all fell into place. It was
Yeah.
just really opened its arms and welcomed me.
That's
So
awesome.
that's my story.
Yeah, thank you so much for
My
sharing.
pleasure. My pleasure.
So, as we've kind of talked about your journey to this, um, were you the first person at the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens who started this program, or has this kind of been a part of the botanical gardens for a while?
I am not the first. I'm the
Mhm.
first intern,
Okay.
um, but I'm not the first. It has evolved, but initially, I believe it was 2010
Okay.
when
Yeah.
the first therapeutic horticulture program started.
Mhm.
And we had a wonderful long-term member and volunteer who had um, gotten ill and went blind. And so she was kind of the impetus in her journey to create um, and gather an amazing group of people to aspire to create the learner garden of the five senses and
Mm.
to create the therapy uh, program in general. So yeah, it was about 2010 that it started, closed down for COVID.
Yeah.
Um, and so been a little of a slow journey, but
Yeah.
it picks up pretty quick.
Oh, I'm sure.
Um, Schedule is pretty full.
Mhm.
Uh, so That's the comeback story. But yeah, it's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
And with you actually leading some of these groups and interacting with these people who are coming in and taking this therapy and working in these gardens, can you kind of talk about like what has the reaction been from the public? How have you seen them maybe change after a session, or maybe over time, or maybe like just kind of how they view gardening and things like that after these?
Overwhelming support.
So glad.
Um, it's really is a fascinating experience to see one who, as I'm speaking of like an individual,
Mhm.
um, who might come in new to the program, be very timid. They don't understand why they're there, what's going to happen. They gardening might not have ever been in
Yeah.
their lifestyle, and to see them um, blossom
Mhm.
with no pun, but um, but really uh, blossom and understand they can accomplish anything. Their
Yeah.
self-efficacy comes through of that they're actually achieving something and doing something for themselves. Um, and we have it's a beautiful space. So
Yeah.
you can either be really active in
Mhm.
the program, but if you also need to have a moment of being passive, you can step aside and just take in the beauty of the gardens, and still be engrossed in the program as well.
Yeah,
But
that's lovely. And I saw recently, not to kind of divulge us off track, but I believe actually this morning that Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens has been nominated as like one of the most respected gardens of America, correct?
Yeah, we were nominated to be in the top 20 best botanical gardens in the country by USA Today, and we were in a competition. And it was voted by our guests, our supporters, and yeah, we came in at top 10 spot, or number 7 actually.
Really?
Yeah, so we're super proud of that, and it's actually the third year in a row we've been in top 10.
Yeah.
So an ongoing success story for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, you see the gardens are so massive. They span across such a large area. And just going there, it's just you feel such a sense of community and relaxation just walking around and experiencing everything that you guys have there. It's really beautiful.
it is. We sit on over 300 plus acres.
Yeah.
So there's many avenues that you can travel in that space.
Mhm.
You know, we want it to be, we kind of practice what we preach of
Yeah.
being as much as we possibly can inclusive and accessible for folks.
Mhm.
Um, it's not always just the main ornamental gardens, which are gorgeous and
Yeah.
stunning. But if you really wanted to go be restorative, um, find respite, calm, we have off the beaten path, really, really beautiful spaces that one has access to. Um, yeah, hiking trails.
Yeah.
If you, yeah, and we don't. We want to include everybody in that. We have programs that, um, we have Maine Days coming up here
Yes. Yeah.
at the end of May,
Mhm.
where I believe it's 7 people, up to 7 people that are allowed for free.
Nice.
Um, we have what other programs we have? We have Gardens for All, where if you are eligible for um, SNAP, WIC, Maine Care, Medicaid,
Mhm.
um, will help with up to no cost for those folks to
Really?
come and enjoy the space as well.
That's lovely.
Um, gosh, what first Wednesday of the month? We Lincoln County residents. We really want to be as accessible,
Yeah.
not in just the formal horticultural therapy program that I
Mhm.
provide, but the informal as well. Um, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I always have to shout it out whenever I have a friend coming up or someone visiting Maine who wants something to do. I always suggest go hunt down the trolls. That's another great thing you
Absolutely.
guys have.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And that comes with a story too.
Yeah.
A teaching story for not necessarily just kids,
Mm-hmm.
but for everyone to what is our impact on this world? Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great story, and it's great to have them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
They're
to
so
trails.
cool. Um, so can you actually explain a little bit of typically what does a horticulture therapy session look like for you and maybe for a participant?
So the biggest part currently of the program
Mm-hmm.
is a 12-week summer sessions at the botanical gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can divide that up if I wanted to, for accessibility reasons. If somebody wanted to do just a 6-week, an
Yeah.
alternating week, but the majority of the organizations of people
Mm-hmm.
come for a 12-week program, and that goes from spans from June to September.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, and I break there for an hour and a half sessions once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have several organizations that come multiple times in a
Oh,
week.
nice.
And again, it goes back to that overwhelming support.
Yeah.
And they see the benefit for their clientele.
Mm.
So I break the 90 minutes down into two different parts. Roughly 45 minutes actively in the gardens doing some form of gardening. And that could be starting, like now would be seed sowing
Yeah.
or in the ground starting of plants.
Mhm.
Throughout the season, people do pruning, um, some composting
Mm.
work. It's really getting your hands in the soil
Yeah.
and stimulating those senses.
Mhm.
I'm a very sensory orientated garden space.
Yeah.
Um, so we actively do gardening activities for half of the hour and a half, and
Mhm.
then 45 minutes. I really 45 35 um, like to tap into our right side of the brain and do a creative activity as well.
Okay.
I'm really expanding that into almost creating an art installation using some sort of nature inspired activity,
Very
which I think
cool.
is hugely important.
Yeah.
It gets on public display, so people get that opportunity of admiring their own work, but then seeing the public, because I'm in
Yeah.
a very public space.
Mhm.
Um, when conversations arise about what are these hanging moss balls with plants growing out, which is called kokedama.
Mhm.
Um, how were these created? What is this? And so I engage the participants to explain their work,
Yeah.
and they take that sense of pride in what they're accomplished. So
That's awesome.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And you keep talking about your focus on sensory work with gardening. Um, you guys have the Five Senses Garden at the Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. For those who haven't been there, can you kind of explain what that is and why it's so important to your work?
So it's called the Learner Garden of the Five Senses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Given us by a wonderful donation of Lynn and Daniel Lerner. Created by a wonderful designer, Herb Schall. Um, and I think it was built in 2009, um, after the longtime uh, member and volunteer did lose her sight. And it's inspired um, that this garden needed a space for our senses. She lost her sight.
Yeah.
How can she still be a part of her beloved garden, even without her sight? So that was how that kind of was the spawn. It was created.
Mm-hmm.
It really touches on our five senses: our sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound and/or hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And Herb it beautifully designed this very fluid space. It's a spectacular garden that touches on all of these. I, in the therapy garden, specifically work on the sense of smell and/or taste, I
Okay.
would say.
Mm-hmm.
I grow a lot of herbs and vegetables.
Yeah.
I need to have the opportunity that my um, plants in my space, for the majority, are edible.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and it's very educational space as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, So we have fragrant flowers, herbs, vegetables in the taste garden. For the site, a lot of the plantings are very bright colored.
Hmm.
Um, we do have this amazing bronze um, map
Oh,
that
wow.
that actually does have braille in it, so you could feel it's in the entrance and exit of the learner garden. Um, that one can take their hands over and feel and understand how they're going to go through this garden.
That's awesome.
It's it's a brilliant detail,
Yeah.
um, and we're one of very few gardens that actually do have a specifically designed garden to accommodate the
Really?
senses, to really engage the senses.
Yeah.
Um, and for the sense of sound, if you come through the Larch Arch, which is probably one of the most photographed sites of our garden, and one of the main entrances
Hmm.
into the garden, the learner garden, um, it's designed where the ADA accessible pathways, you will always have the sound of the fountain in one of the
Yes.
ponds on your right.
Hmm.
Um, or the sense of touch. We have a wonderful reflexology labyrinth, which is made of river rock, river stones. And when those warm up and you take your shoes off and you're feeling a little sluggish in the day, if you go find that perfect rock and get that pressure point in your
Yeah.
foot, it will change your life. It will absolutely change your outlook for the day.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that, the little details
Hmm.
um, that have been really brilliantly um, thought out. Even in the taste garden, um, accessibility is key.
Hmm.
Working with a multitude of populations that I work with, I have raised beds. I have in those beds 3 different cutouts that I can have wheelchair access
Oh, very
into, so they're
nice.
tabletop gardening.
Very cool.
I have 3 vertical gardens.
Hmm.
And vertical gardens, I think they're about 6 feet high,
Hmm.
um, that I can use with people sitting, or they can be standing. If they prefer to sit or have a walking assisted device,
Hmm.
I use them for dexterity
Yeah.
exercises and to achieve a goal of standing or sitting. And so there's a bar, a rail that goes
Yeah.
along the entire garden space. Um, so we can work with balance and muscle strength. Um, it's a wonderfully designed space. The pavilion
Hmm.
provides me shade on very hot days
Yeah.
of full sun,
Hmm.
that I can do gardening activities with people um, in that space and be sheltered from the sun and still have access to water.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a wonderfully designed garden space.
Yeah, it really is. And I remember, I think I went to go and visit about a year or two ago. And that was one of the first stops that we did, Five Senses Garden.
Yeah.
And it really is such a beautifully designed area where you can walk
Yes.
through. And even for someone who doesn't have any impairments or visibly or audibly or anything like that, it's very magical to go in and hear the water from the fountain. And I mean, even some of the leaves are extraordinarily soft that you can reach out and touch. It's such an amazing
It
experience.
really is.
Yeah.
And the gardener, the head gardener that's been taking care of the space for years,
Hmm.
has been very thoughtful. You speak of the plants that you
Yes.
can touch.
Hmm.
Lamb's ear is probably
Yes.
one of the
Yeah.
thing down near the reflexology. It's that wonderful, almost like a puppy's ear. It's
Yeah.
that softness, that tactile
Hmm.
experience. Or there's a rabbit. I don't know if you recall. There's a rabbit down there, an art piece. It's
Don't
a
remember.
beautifully smoothed down piece of stone. And again, when
Interesting.
the sun hits it, it warms up a little bit. But it's just a great piece of art um, that becomes another tactile experience. Um, yeah, the waterfall with the fountain that
Hmm.
comes over the weir. Um, the sound stones that you can stick your head in and do a slight
Yeah.
hum. It's very interactive space.
Yes.
It's really well thought out.
Yeah. And for someone who, like I mentioned before this episode, my father is a landscaper, gardener, loves being outdoors. I
Yeah.
didn't get the green thumb as much. But for someone who even doesn't garden as much or isn't outdoors as much or doesn't interact with these types of things, it's very relaxing and it's almost surreal to kind of experience this if you're not used to this types of work.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. That being in that, and you were mentioning colors and textures, the variety of colors, and it changes
Mhm.
throughout the season.
Yeah.
And that's the brilliance. And there are little respite spots that you can stop and take in a certain view, and then continue on, and then sit, have another moment,
Yeah.
if you will. Yeah, it's a very, very well thought, very well designed space.
Yeah. Well, so as you know, I'm sure this year's winter has been very cold,
We
very
actually had
long.
one. Yeah.
um, but here at NAMI Maine, we always talk about in our trainings a great way to de-stress is to get outside. It's really important to get outside, get your dose of vitamin D from the sun. We had one podcast guest, I believe last year. She said something that really stuck with me. You want to get a snack, a meal, and a feast of being outside. Um, but it's really important not just for physical health, but also for mental health. Um, but I was wondering, do you have anything that you usually say to your patients or to people who are asking you about your work? Do you kind of try and do you ever bring up the importance of being outside?
It's almost 100%
Yeah.
what I encourage.
Yeah.
I can't get away from it. And I love that analogy.
Yeah.
The snack, the meal, the feast.
Mhm.
I think that's absolutely brilliant because it's all nourishment.
Yeah,
Is it
exactly.
not? It's in
Mhm.
some sense a nourishment. Um, and so, and I always say, often say, when describing the program, is that people come for 12 weeks and
Mhm.
they nurture the garden, but the garden also nurtures them. It's a reciprocal relationship
Mhm.
that's happening. Um, and so even just the small moments of the snack, if you will, or the
Yeah.
meal,
Mhm.
the small moments of after we've done a seed sowing activity, in a couple of weeks when those seeds start germinating and they see the little green nubs breaking through the soil, that's a huge moment though.
Yeah.
Um, so that can kind of starts with the snack, grows into the meal, and then if I finish off with a 12-week program in September, we're doing full harvests at
Yeah.
that stage.
Mhm.
And then I've incorporated last year to do a special luncheon for all of my groups and all my participants
Mhm.
and their care providers, and some administrators showed up.
Yeah.
Um, but to create truly the feast,
Yeah.
we cater the lunch, but it gives them, they don't often get to meet each other, all the individual groups and whatnot. So the amazement of that shared
Yeah.
experience that they all get to have was really quite tremendous. And so that's the feast for me,
Yeah.
literally a feast um, in a beautiful landscape. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
so nice. And I'm sure even though these people may be working separately in separate groups, I'm sure coming together at the end and kind of everyone has that shared experience of working on this same area. I'm sure it's very impactful.
it is.
Mhm.
It really is. And I can truly see the immediate impact that it does have on folks. This year, I'm hoping for a really an abundant
Mhm.
um, harvest, vegetable production
Mhm.
year,
Yeah.
because I kind of dropped this on a group yesterday for that larger impact, that understanding of giving back to our communities
Mhm.
and hoping for an abundant crop this year and give off uh, any excess to the local food bank.
Yeah.
Um, that again gives them that sense of accomplishment, that it's not just them coming to the garden and having individual
Yeah.
experiences, that it's a bigger purpose, it's a bigger meaning.
Yeah.
Um, so that's going to be part of the program this
Yeah, that's awesome.
year.
I know at my college where I went to study, we had a group that was dedicated to recycling, kind of cleaning up the campus and everything. But eventually, around kind of the end part of my time at college, they started a community garden with the students, and a lot of students kind of just joined because they were part of that group, and it was kind of required for them. But once they got involved with it and they realized that the fruit and the vegetables that they were producing was going to our dining hall and then going on to feed everyone else,
Right.
it felt so special to them.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mhm.
And it's educational.
Yeah.
There's some aspect, if you're living in an urban setting,
Yes.
for instance, how often I will have groups of children
hmm
or even adults that are shocked to see how their food is grown.
Yeah.
They're just so accustomed to seeing it beautifully presented and displayed in a grocery
Yeah.
store, but they don't really understand where a cucumber comes
Yeah.
from or what a chive looks like.
hmm
Um, or to have that freshness from literally farm to table or
Yeah.
farm to mouth
Yeah.
is really a great experience to also have in that space.
Yeah.
Is to just to see people's light up, their faces light up of, oh my goodness, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that the sweetness of a sugar snap pea fresh off the vine first thing in the morning is life changing.
Yeah.
It's great.
So as we kind of start to wrap up our episode and our discussion, if people are interested in the work that you do, how could they reach out and how could they get involved in maybe at the gardens or maybe at their house? How can they kind of exemplify this work there?
So they can certainly personally email me at gdorr, DORR,
hmm
at mainegardens.org. Um, I'm always delighted to talk about this.
Yeah.
And other like national organization for horticultural therapy would be the American Horticultural Therapy Association, or AHTA.
Mm.
They could always look up their website for other programs and access to the gardens, to Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens.
hmm
Please reach out to mainegardens.org.
hmm
That's a wealth of information
hmm
from botanical classes or health and wellness classes,
Yeah.
to learning about the program, the therapy program itself. That's going to be a huge wealth of information. As I stated, we certainly want to have access and inclusivity for everyone. So take advantage of the Maine days that are coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, again, come be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Find that respite.
hmm
Super important.
Yeah. So is there anything that you'd kind of like to share with our audience? Do you have any kind of final thoughts?
Do get out in nature,
Yeah.
and whatever that may be. If you're in a space that, again, choice is maybe not always there to be able to get outdoors,
Mhm.
find a really well lit room
Yeah.
that you can look out into some form of nature. Hopefully, maybe a bird feeder is there as
Mhm.
well. Um, if you simply can't get out in nature, a house plant, especially in an urban setting,
hmm
if it's just street trees that you get to look at, but bring nature in,
Yeah.
clean that air. We were speaking of a long winter.
Yeah. hmm
To be able to have that nature indoors is quite huge. Um, so yeah, I'm always encouraging um, some way, shape, or form to bring in some sort of nature, bring in some sort of plant, care for something, nurture yourself,
Yeah.
find that sunlight
Mhm.
when and if it ever comes back to the wonderful state of Maine. And it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming. Or, simply take a walk in any of our beautiful parks. I mean, we are blessed
Yeah.
in the state of Maine to
Mhm.
be surrounded by an abundance of water and parks and trees and whatnot. So even if it is 20 degrees out, but it's a sunny day,
Yep.
bundle up and get out there and get that vitamin D, as you did state earlier.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I love what you mentioned about kind of the importance of nurturing, because when you nurture, it can be a plant or taking care of an animal, anything like that, you really do feel better. It gives you kind of this sense of relief and almost self-worth that,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So make sure to check out all the work that Garron does this summer. Don't forget to visit the gardens, check it out for yourself. You can reach out to Garron at the email that he mentioned earlier. And as always, don't forget to check out namimaine.org for a list of resources and some of our upcoming trainings. And don't forget that you can also reach us at this number here to contact our helpline for any questions that you may have. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of NAMI Maine Talks.